Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Today on General Hospital, Sam and her family prepare for surgery, Brad and Lucas begin to thaw, and Curtis makes a pitch to Steven. On today's General Hospital, Alexis and Danny are both proud as they complete their meals, and Scout expresses how important it is that Mom is saving someone's life. Scout leaves to wash her hands, and Alexis says Rocco is a good big brother. He always steps up when she needs him. I think you're awesome, and so does your mom. Brennan is on the phone with Carly, questioning why she is avoiding him. He has to see her immediately. She claims it's not a good moment, but he believes it's necessary. Trust me, so is this. Carly hangs up and enters Sam's room, inquiring how she is. She believes Lulu will need a miracle to get through, but she has a shot thanks to Sam. If you need anything, please tell me. GH's Sam gestures to a book in her lap, looking up eagerly from her hospital bed. Sam smiles, explaining that Carly did not come in for a chat. She wants something. As always. Yes, I do. I wanted to thank you. Sam looks at her, chuckling, and admits that Carly surprised her, but before they can bond too much, Brennan enters, asking for Carly. Sonny visits Jason in his office, exchanges niceties about Sam's special day, and then demands to know what occurred in Africa. Jason updates Sonny on Sidwell, Lucky, and the WSB intervention. They got Lucky out, and Holly was there. She had the diamond? He asks. Sonny says, diamonds, plural. She has enough for him to realize she is in jeopardy. The kind of hassle that could be worth it. The loot will most certainly be approximately $100 million, and Sonny wants to collaborate with her. Jason warns him that Sidwell is still alive and is in the United States, most likely seeking for Holly. Jason claims it was his mistake to leave Sidwell alive. Sonny believes that if they act quickly, they will be able to get Holly out before Sidwell connects the dots. But he has somewhere to go and departs, just as Carly phones Jason. Brennan brings Carly outside, and she scolds him for dragging her away while Lulu is going to drown. Great, but first he needs her to persuade Jason to cooperate. He has important knowledge on the Lucky Spencer operation. Carly is hesitant to assist him until Brennan informs her that Sidwell will be visiting the United States, most likely for Anna and Jason, and that the extraction she requested his assistance with is about to turn into a full-fledged international catastrophe. Why did you help me? If she has to ask, she isn't as intelligent as she appears. It was chivalry, but she questions it. Jason approaches, angry that Carly did not mention Brennan when she called. She requests a favor for both of them. Jack requires complete information about what occurred. He saved Jason's life, and she and Jason both owe him. Please help him. She leaves the two alone. Laura grabs Lulu's hand as Dante and Rocco open the door, assuring her that she and everyone else will be there. She advises Rocco that now is the time to say something to his mother before surgery. Rocco sits down beside her. Dante and Laura wonder if she will know him when she wakes up, as the teen places his cross-country medal in his mother's hands. Lulu taught him never to give up. Don't give up now. With the locker room, Isaiah is standing with his eyes closed as Lucas walks by with a towel. Isaiah is imagining the surgery, and they both say they are ready. Isaiah goes away, leaving Lucas to discover a cinnamon bun in his locker with a letter. He begins eating as Brad enters, stating that he always needs Eckert's before operating unless he is hungry for something else. Lucas is horrified. Brad was at his locker, saying he had clearly defined his boundaries. He just had some leftover food and wanted to show his support. He will take it back. But Lucas replies he's already had a taste, takes a step back, and drops his towel. Relax, it's nothing I haven't seen before. Lucas becomes uneasy as he walks away. Isaiah speaks seriously to Laura, holding her hands and looking directly at her. Out in the waiting room, Dante suggests that Rocco go to school. He doesn't want to leave, so Dante offers if Sam agrees, he can stay and do his schoolwork. As they leave, Isaiah approaches and Laura inquires about their well-being. They discuss the hazards, but Laura assures the doctor that if he gives her the opportunity, she will succeed. Rick sits with Heather in the jail conference room. She regrets missing Alexis and expresses a desire to win something. Rick informs her that the judge has vacated her sentence. She's going free. She's stunned. "Are you messing with me?" There are no halfway houses, parole officers, or ankle monitors. Nothing. She's completely free. Heather stands up, shouts, and hugs Rick, thanking him sincerely. She plans to make the most of her second chance. That's excellent, but the HIP settlement may take some time to arrive, so she'll have to sustain herself in the meantime. She does not want to think about that right now. Fine, but she needs to find a place to stay. She names Laura or Alexis, but Rick argues they are both going through a crisis and are connected. As Rick sits patiently at the prison table with Heather, studying her with folded hands while she speaks. Think. Is there anyone I can call? Liz tells Portia about Heather and asks if she can help. If Plan A fails, I may take you up on that offer. Liz wonders what Plan A is. She does not receive an answer because Portia insists that they focus on the transplant rather than Heather. Curtis is taking care of her. Liz warns her to be cautious. Isaiah comes over to help himself to some Eckerts, but is called away before he can finish his meal. Brad wanders over, agreeing to hold one for the doctor, then informs Liz and Portia that he needs to leave his work early to attend a baseball game. Liz is stunned, but Brad makes a veiled remark to Portia, who looks unwell and encourages him to have fun. Liz from General Hospital frowns as she glances up at Portia. They're discussing about Brad when Lucas steps in and cracks a joke about Brad's pastries, prompting the crew to forget about him. In his office, Curtis meets Steve as Heather Weber's prodigal son. Steve informs Curtis that he is no longer a doctor and inquires as to why he requested an in-person appointment. He doesn't want to remain long. Port Charles has a lot of negative memories. Curtis informs him that when Steve departs, he wants him to take his mother with him. I was really hoping this trip had nothing to do with Heather. Curtis updates Steve on Heather's release. He stands up, shocked. What do you want from me? Curtis simply wants him to take Heather far away from Port Charles, but Steve refuses. Curtis claims he'll make it worthwhile. Steve isn't sure he could get her if he wanted to. He can't get her out of Port Charles. Curtis is confident she will go voluntarily. Laura will finally cut off access to Ace, leaving only Steve. Steve continues to refuse to accept responsibility for her, so Curtis threatens him that if he does not, he would be held accountable for what's left of her. He wants to defend his family, and Steve needs to be with them. Curtis will boost Steve's income until he is able to support himself independently. It is either that or the alternatives, which are much less pleasant. After some thought, Heather phones Liz and asks if she can bring her up from prison for Franco. Rick arrives, and Liz tells him to take Heather. He admits he dislikes the notion of her and Aiden sharing their house with Heather. But he could also move in. They both laugh. That's the polar opposite of helping, she says. Lucas notices Brad preparing to leave and questions whether he twisted his way back into his employment. People say he played Terry. Brad claims he mentioned Britt's name. He is not proud, but he needs a job. He is doing the best he can. Lucas gently reminds him about the last time they went to see the Chucks and walks away. Rocco, Scout, and Alexis arrive to cheer Sam on in a heartwarming family moment. Sunny arrives shortly after, and everyone expresses their admiration for her. Danny claims she is a true hero. Dante and Rocco then arrive, with Rocco thanking Sam for saving his mother's life. I don't know how I'll ever be able to repay you. Sam begins to cry as she expresses gratitude to all of my people for their kindness. She's just happy she can repay the favor. Everyone clutches back tears. GH's Brennan puts a smirk on his face when talking to Carly. In the concluding seconds of the show, Brennan asks Jason if there is more to his adventure. Jason tells him Holly stole a fortune in gems from Sidwell. Steer clear of Sidwell. Then he wants Jason to thank Carly. Jason, in turn, warns Brennan not to harm Carly. Those who do experience negative consequences. Heather gingerly steps out of the prison gates, glad to see Liz arrive. But then Steve walks over. She is overjoyed, but he only says, "Hello, Mother." Portia gets off the phone with Marshall just as Curtis arrives. He smiles and nods. And she walks over to give him a warm hug. It took some convincing, but Steven is going to do it. Heather will be unable to resist. It is over, baby. It is finally over. But as Portia is rejoicing, Brad passes by. Sam is being brought into surgery as everyone she cares about says their final goodbyes, telling her how much they love her. Laura expresses gratitude, and Dante gives her a final kiss. Jason then gets out of the elevator and informs Sam she has this piece of cake, Sam says through tears. Lucas walks over and informs his sister that the operating room is ready, and as she is carried away, she calls to say how much she loves everyone. Molly Lansing Davis and Christina Corinthos Davis should be especially outraged because their previous meeting with Sam was so bad. Sam stomped on her feuding sisters, and it appears that is the last memory Christina and Molly will have of her. As beautiful as Dante and Sam are together, and as much as we'd like to see them continue, Sam may have been left out in the cold by the conclusion of Lulu's homecoming. And if that happened, we know who she would have turned to, Jason. We know Sam has been fairly resolute in staying away from Jason and his risky lifestyle. But we'd all be lying to ourselves if we thought their narrative was over, or that there would never be another tug between them. They spent years together and have a kid, Danny, who adores both his parents. And for a while, no matter how often they were apart, Jason and Sam always found their way back together. Except, perhaps not anymore. Because when Sam dies, their tale ends. As is Sam's story with Drew, whom she initially fell for because she mistook him for Jason. To be sure, their love tale isn't as great as just Sam. Drew and Sam had their time, but we're quite confident it's over, at least from a romantic standpoint. That's not to say there wasn't enough of narrative to tell with the two having a kid. We know how much Sam and Drew have disagreed about which school to send Scout to. Consider how they would react when she grew older and began dating, falling in love, and rebelling against her parents. There's no way it would go nicely, but perhaps by the time Scout is out of her teen years, they'll have learned how to co-parent. Drew will now bear the brunt of the responsibility. All those years of stories are gone, and we will never know how Sam will handle things. And this leads us to our final narrative loss. Sam is never going to see her children grow up. They're old enough to remember their mother, and the time she spent with them will undoubtedly influence their destiny. However, she will not be there to mold and guide them. And it's unfortunate that Danny idolizes Jason's bad boy tendencies so much, and Drew has a tendency to want things for Scout that Sam never did. We're not saying Sam should be the sole one deciding her children's futures, but once she's gone, so is much of what she envisioned for them. Similarly, much of what we had hoped for Sam will be lost. What storylines do you wish you could have seen play out with Sam? The world of General Hospital has seen its fair share of stunning twists and heartbreaking goodbyes, but nothing prepared fans for Kelly Monaco's character, Sam McCall, to leave. As Sam breathes her dying breath in Port Charles, the show's entire cast feels the impact of her death. But it's not only Sam who's departing. General Hospital is also concluding numerous significant storylines that were inextricably linked to her character. Let's look at the aftermath of her tragic exit and the 5 storylines that appear to have been buried alongside her. 1. The much-anticipated Jason and Sam reunion. Since the early 2000s, fans have been rooting for Jason Morgan and Sam McCall's romance, which is packed with danger, passion, and unending problems. For years, audiences hoped that these star-crossed lovers would eventually find peace together. With Jason back in town, fans were expecting a spectacular reunion. But with Sam's unexpected departure, that romantic endgame has come to an abrupt halt. What about the terrible reality? Jason never gets to say his goodbyes. Their incomplete love story has become a bittersweet memory, leaving admirers with infinite what-ifs. And with that, General Hospital ends a love tale that defined an era. 2. Drew Cain's redemption arc. Drew Cain's, Cameron Matheson, narrative was just getting started, and his friendship with Sam was a key part of his redemption arc. For Drew, reconnecting with Sam meant healing old wounds and discovering a purpose in Port Charles beyond his identity challenges and memory issues. Their co-parenting interaction and unresolved sentiments suggested a deeper connection, prompting viewers to speculate if Drew and Sam could have restarted their romance. But with Sam's departure, Drew's trip takes a sudden turn. Will he fall back into old habits, or will he discover a new purpose? In any case, the story of redemption that was supposed to be a prominent theme has now lost one of its main characters. 3. The mysterious threat to Sam. Just as Sam thought she was free of the horrors of her past, a mysterious individual began targeting her, keeping spectators on the edge of their seats. Was it a former con artist, a vestige of her mob links, or a new adversary? The mystery was building up to what looked to be an exciting reveal, with Sam racing against the clock to defend her family and herself. However, with her untimely departure, those unanswered issues may remain in the shadows indefinitely. General Hospital appears to have buried this narrative alongside her character, leaving fans dissatisfied and wondering whether the mystery will ever be resolved. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.